What's up, bros and hoes, whatever floats your goat? It's your boy Relentless, and today I'm bringing you another video. Yesterday we went over the gear sets in order to have and be prepared for 1.6, and today we are going to go over some of the more popular weapons that should be coming into 1.6, and for you to make sure that you have these. Depending on what particular gear set that you're going to be running and what particular idea of what you're going to be trying to concoct in order to fit your playstyle. Now, let's say, for instance, you want to run Lone Star. Lone Star is more or less a sleeper, but yet, if utilized right, then it can definitely be potent. And if you come over here to the special weapons vendor inside the base of operations, you get basically the same ones that's always here, starting with the pecan. It has swift, destructive, and ferocious. So if you're on a PvE more side of things, then definitely this pecan is one that you want to pick up. It has pretty good damage to target out of cover at 14%. Swift, destructive, and ferocious. You can roll off Swift for something else that will better suit your build. But when it comes far as destructive and ferocious is an absolute good set of talents, more or less, in the PvE side if you're looking for a good LMG. Now, based on other LMGs, let's say for the Hungry Hog, the Pecan has more and better base damage. The RPM, it's adequate. And then, if you put an extended mag on it, then you're going to get around 90 to 95 in the magazine. The Hungry Hog, you can have up to 200, but yet you're going to be doing significantly low base damage on that. And depending on the talents, my pick and my purchase would be on the Pecan. I have already bought a Pecan, and I like it much better because with its fire rate and its base damage, it's basically an AR. But instead of getting enemy armor damage, you're getting the 14% damage to target out of cover. So if you're into PvE more than you are PvP, then the Pecan is a nice one to pick up. Now moving on to the Cassidy Double Barrel. As you can see, I'm just a little over 5,000 in firearms at 5,500. Toughness at 6193 in stamina. And as you can see, the damage on the Cassidy is 156k. Now that's just based currently on my build. And on my gloves, I have no shotgun damage. So if you have a particular set of gloves and you're running all high ends like I am, I'll throw up a tweet courtesy of one of our infamous and famous streamers out there, Marco Style. He tweets out Lone Star plus Double Cassidy, insta-folding people in Last Stand. Try it yourself. So I was already thinking along this, and this week before Friday, the vendor reset, this is a pretty good Cassidy. It has 340.5% stagger, and it comes with responsive, commanding, and meticulous. Now, meticulous isn't too bad due to the range and it being double barrel. So basically, it could come in handy. The responsive is really good as far as going with this. But you can roll off the commanding for something such as brutal to give you that extra headshot damage, and it could be an absolute monster. Even though it's double barrel, but according to a lot of streamers, not just as myself, if you're looking for a good secondary to put a quick and close damage and possibly just cremate them into a down the state like it was 1.3 shotgun meta all over again, then I suggest you go to the special weapons vendor and pick up this Cassidy. Also, if you haven't picked up the Centurion, it'll be a good sidearm as well. With everything coming into play, it's going to be a nice pickup. Now, not just exotic weapons. I'll show you what I'm currently going with. It's Barrett's Skull MC gloves, Tenacious mask, great armor roll on it. Specialized backpack. And as we know that the major attribute of armor is going to be re-rolled in 1.6, and that will in turn be stamina. I do not have the Colonel Bliss holster, so I opted out for the sturdy holster. Since it's trying to come back to more of a cover-based shooter, this if you're low on armor and want that little extra buff, then I recommend going with sturdy. If you want to put in a little bit more damage, then I would go with nimble and use that cover to cover if you can succeed in pulling it off for that even extra damage. So let's say, for instance, you are running the Cassidy with some Lone Star and you have on a nimble holster. Well, in turn, you do a cover to cover, and that allows you to get right up on them. And an unsuspecting agent, is just standing there thinking, oh, the sky's blue. I just love it. And then, bam, dead. I mean, you can use whatever is at your disposal and try to work with whatever you have. I'm currently farming for the short bow knee pads, so that is good. But I'm going for more or less a crit build. And as you can see, self-preserved, vicious, and fierce. All in turn, when, let's say, you're using a Reclaimer. Most people will opt in for the Caduceus. Killing a target reduces cooldowns by 7.5%. That also can come in handy. And then you got Predatory. Killing a target regenerates 35% of health over 20 seconds. And then, of course, you got Competent for the extra build because, let's face it, you're probably going to be stacking on a lot of electronics. But yet, if you want a more balanced build, the Caduceus is alright. But I would actually roll probably Predatory off of that. And instead entwine, mix it up, and go with Self-Preserved. Now, personally, if I was to run a Reclaimer set, and I'm basically going to be the paladin of the group, and since the information had dropped yesterday that SMGs are coming back out with crit hit chance. Now, the highest base crit hit chance, I believe, was rumored to be 20%. So, instead of falling back to the Caduceus, I would suggest going with some type of SMG with decent rate of fire, such as an MP5, or like I have here, the converted SMG 9, and rock self-preserved on it with Vicious and Fierce. Because Vicious, as we all know, critical hit chance is increased by 10% while having more than 2 segments of health. Accompany that with a Sturdy. If you're in cover, you're not going to be taking that much damage unless you're rushed upon. And you're going to have teammates to help you out with that because your healing station is going to be down for them. But what about you? You can take off pop shots, and with the self-preserved, get back 3% of damage dealt. After a while, that damage built up. Now I'll go ahead and let you see what my crit hit damage is on it currently. As you can see, crit hit chance is 38%. So let's just say somebody in my group is also running a Pulse, a Conceal, whatever the case may be. And let's just say they have low skill power and their base skill power allows 14% onto that. So that's going to put me at about 52%. The crit hit cap is at 60%. So basically every other shot that I hit, I'm going to in turn be getting health back. So that not only benefits my team, but also benefits me because I'm receiving health if I'm not in my current, Reclaimer support station that's down. Then in turn, while they're duking it out and I'm sitting back, then I'm still, taking pop shots and I'm still getting health as well. But if I'm inside the support station and using a gun such as this with these kind of talents, then that also in turn just increases my health even more. So, if you're playing in a group and you're running with a Reclaimer inside your group, then I would suggest in going this route as well. Whether you're whole high end like my current is, or if you're striker or Predator's Mark, Lone Star, the F3 DNC, whatever the case may be, if you have someone in your group that is stacking crit chance and running Pulse, and you have someone in your group running Reclaimer with the support station out, basically you're going to be receiving health constantly. Every other bullet that you hit, you're going to be receiving health. By being in the support station, you're going to be receiving health. So all in all, I think this is a very good option to more or less think about. Now let's go ahead and go down and take this long walk to the bottom of the boo. But there's one thing I got to do before I got to go down. Where's she at? Nope, she's not here. Oh, here you are. So, babe, we're going to go catch some dinner later. I mean, if we are, do that, make sure, you use Purell and get all nice and clean because, I don't want to catch something that you brought in from the lab when we go have dinner, you know what I'm saying? But don't worry, 9 o'clock sharp. Don't be there and be square. Bring a friend if you like. I mean, the more the merrier. But anyways, I gotta run, babe. Toodles. So let's go on down to the weapons downstairs. Now I know most people are still gonna be running the LBOAC, the M4. They're still pretty much top tier ARs. If you haven't picked up a Valkyrie, I suggest pick you up one. This Valkyria is pretty decent. You can't really judge by its crit hit damage, but if the values pretty much stay the same and just are switched over to crit hit chance, this is going to be one that's going to have a higher crit chance value because it has a higher crit hit damage value. It comes with Determined. Killing a target reduces skill cooldowns by 7.5%. Competent and responsive. Now keep in mind, competent in the second slot is not a bad thing because people are going to have to spec somewhat into electronics. By just one gear piece being rolled to electronics or using electronic mods in their mod slots with skill power on them, you can easily attain the 38 32 for electronics to unlock competent, and then you can stick on something more or less like self-preserved or vicious or anything along that lines to better suit your build. Now, for all you tactician builds out there, if you haven't picked up the Liberator, then I would suggest to do so. It comes with competent, dominant, and talented. Very good for a tactician build. So if you are a tac build and looking for something to do a little bit more punch, then I suggest going for this one. Killing a target with this weapon increases skill power by 15% for 20 seconds. The effect does not stack. And then also you have dominant. Every kill performed while your signature skill is active reduces the cooldown of other skills by 10%. Now, me personally, I would roll off dominant for something that better suits the build, but I would leave competent and talented where it's at because that's where it's needed. Or basically, if you want to have something a little different, go with a not necessarily the Historian because it got a little bit decrease and now it's getting a little bit more buff. The explosion, the base damage of the Historian is not as good as it was during PTS Week 2, and then they changed it, and then it really wasn't worth that much. But in turn, they upped the damage that when you embed one of those explosive bullets into an enemy, then it gives you 700%, and it's all based on firearms. So that is definitely one to go check out if you're more interested in that. Now moving on, this has really nothing to do with weapons, but if you're preparing to play a lot of Last Stand, where everything's normalization and you have everything min-max depending on what you wear. It doesn't matter what you go on in with. Everything is going to be min-max as far as armor, your stats, all of the above. So I recommend picking up all the weapon kits you can. Any blueprint, regardless if it's 256, level 30s, 229s, 204s, whatever the case may be, because in the last stand, 204, 229 will automatically be scaled up to 256. So if you're missing, let's say you have three-piece Hunter's Fate and you cannot find knee pads and all they have down here is 204. Well, if you plan on using that in the last stand, then just hop on down here, buy these 204 blueprints, use them only in last stand, and those 204s will instantly be 256 and be very much adequate and viable, such as anything else along here. The 182 weapons will automatically scale up. If you so buy up all these blueprints, Alpha Bridge, attachments, stamina gear mods, whatever the case may be. Be sure to buy all these as much as possible. That is if you are preparing to play a lot of Last Stand, because they will automatically scale up. Now, it's unfortunate that we have got another MP7 blueprint here that on PS4, because I'm currently on PS4, and Xbox originally got the MP5 blueprint, and we have yet to see the MP5 blueprint here on PS4. So basically, if you're looking for a crit build that's going to be doing high crit, and you want to be more self-sustaining, then I suggest to go with, such as by SMG9 here, with Self-Preserve, Vicious, and Fierce. Also have a custom P416G3. It's not necessarily the greatest, but, you know, Vicious, Brutal, and Destructive, and it has a great base damage on it. The Caduceus, it's also a very higher option. As you can see, the RPM difference, the lower the RPM, the more damage output. But as I have seen so far, you could apply and get some better talents on other weapons that will even better suit than just being able to use the Caduceus. Such as if you want the same amount of skill cooldowns, just find an assault rifle that has skilled in its third slot or wherever the case may be, and just simply hitting a headshot will automatically cool down your skills. And then if you're on Reclaimer and don't want to run such as like the Caduceus or even the Liberator or anything like that, then just pick you up a custom or converted SMG9, MP5, whatever the case may be. Make sure Self-Preserved is on it, Vicious, and Fierce, and you will be good to go, because while you are healing your teammates and standing in there, and you're dishing out damage at the same time, you're going to have a long survivability by doing so. And with all your shots, half of them is going to be returned to you, 3% of damage dealt into your health, and plus you're getting the health regen. So that is something to think about. Be creative in your builds. Think outside the box. Don't go into the norm. Just don't throw on a bunch of Deadeye pieces and, you know, a marksman rifle and go out there and try to be all beast mode. Because as we see in the PTS right now, that's basically what everybody's rocking. And as we know from past events, if a whole server or people in Last Stand are rocking nothing but the same gear set, what does Massive do? They absolutely chop its head off just because they don't want everybody running the same build. So be diverse, try to make everything viable, and everything is viable. It's all a matter of how you roll it and how you utilize it, depending on what build you are using. And especially with the crit chats coming back. So let's say, for instance, if my crit hit damage is switched to just 15% crit hit chance, then add 15% crit hit chance to that 38. And what do you get? I'm already at 53% crit hit chance. And if I utilize somebody else with Pulse, then I'm already hitting crit chance and I'm getting tons and tons of healing back. But that's just my 2 cents worth. Don't just buy every single exotic weapon out there in order just to have it. Make sure you go over what talents and the exotic talents is going to be on there, and make sure you're going to actually be able to use it, and it's going to be vital in whatever build you might be using, because there's no point wasting Phoenix credits on something just in order to have it when you're planning on never using it. such as, if you're looking for the Warlord, not just for the way it looks, and it's actually going to accompany your mindset on what kind of build you're wanting to create, then by all means, farm Falcon's Loss, store up those seal caches, and hope for the best that one will actually drop. But that's all for me. That's just a little heads up on little odd and ends of things, on what yet to come, and what to look forward to, and what to grab a hold of. So this is your boy Relentless, and don't forget the giveaway that'll be happening. We're only like 8 subs away, and then a full game of Ghost Recon Wildlands will be given out. Also, along those lines, I already had promised another gift card giveaway, whether it be a PSN, Xbox, or for those that are on PC, an Amazon gift card. That also will be given away. So be sure to follow me on Twitter at RelentlessRG and hit that like button. Comment on your thoughts and what builds are you looking forward to more or less having. And also, before 1.6 comes out, I'm trying to make this not just a Division channel, but more or less along the lines of a whole lot other games plus the Division. I'm thinking more along the lines of Ghost Recon Wildlands when it launches March 7th. Also, Horizon Zero Dawn. I plan on streaming that game on my more or less off and free time, such as probably like on Friday nights, Saturday nights, probably on sometime on the weekend of streaming that game, because it is an immense open world single player. And I'm actually looking forward to it because it looks really dope. So if that's something y'all want to see live streamed, like on weekends, and something different, something that I can interact with you in the comment section, in the stream, let me know what you guys think. And I appreciate you guys watching, and we'll see you guys fudging later.
Panda, 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 panda. I got broads in Atlanta, just to the lean the family. Credit cards in the scammers, hitting the licks.